Hey, how's it going, YouTube? So, last time we left off, we were doing the UV texture mapping on the revolver. We finished the wheel cylinder, and so now we're going to finish working on the body itself. So, let's go ahead and just get started on that real quickly. Where did we leave? Oh, yes, I remember now. So, since I have this selected, I'm actually going to create a new planar mapping. And the reason for this is because we redesigned the texture map. So we no longer need what was here before. So we're going to project this from the x-axis. And we'll start moving everything into position. So I just realized we don't have the full trigger down here. Ain't that neat? But that is okay. What we do need to do, however, is we need to select these faces, kind of like that. We don't want these. Deselect. There we go. And we're going to create another planar mapping for just those by themselves. So the reason for this is when we do this, we can just move these over into position right around here. And they should uniformly, there we go, about like that. So for the most part, these should uniformly fit, for the most part. Now you'll still have to do some tweaking, no surprise. That actually came out really clean. I'm rolling with it. I'm taking it. And we're going to move these forward just a little bit. Then down here, we're going to move these up. See, those can be right about here. These need to be right about here. And these little guys need to come down about here. We're going to grab these and move these up. Say right about there. So we have this stretching with the logo. Basically, we can just grab these. Let's see. So if we move them down, that fixes the logo. What is going on here? Let me see. Did we model off of this one, or did we... No, we used the other one. That's why we're having the stretching issues with the logo. So, few ways we can do this. I'm going to move this down for now. I'm going to move this one where it's flat, kind of like that. And this one I'm going to move over. No, I need to move this over. I need to move this one over. Kind of like that. And then these, I'm going to take all of these, I'm going to... So if we move them down, we get that fixed, but then that comes into that. So anyways, the reason why we're doing this, because this bottom part down here is actually flat. And if I'm thinking correctly, the image we used, it wasn't flat. It actually had... No, this one's flat too. Either way, we can fix it. Oh yes, we can fix it. We can fix it very, very easily. Do not lose faith in me, YouTube. So grab these, move those right about here. Move this one, let's see, right about there. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to take these. Let's see, which ones do I have selected? So I have these selected. You can manipulate this a little bit more. I'm thinking I really want this logo to be round. There we go, about like that. Yeah, but then we run into this other problem. So, one of the easiest ways to do this, because obviously we're running into issues with the texture map. So I'm actually going to go into the tutorial folder, and inside where we saved the texture. Oh, come on, load. Hopefully y'all saved it. So inside of this one is, I'm going to turn these off. And I'm actually going to select this layer right here. And I'm going to select the logo, Control C, V. And then I'm just going to move this. See, now why does it got to do that to me? Control C, V. I'm going to move this over here. And then I'm going to select this section right here. Control C, V. I'm going to move this over here. Now, I want these layers to be under the logo layer. And the reason for that, because I'm actually going to create a quote-unquote high-resolution texture map for this. And in order to do that, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these down to about here. Now, for this layer right here, we're going to, we're just going to hit V. We're just going to keep doing this. And eventually, we're going to get this huge wrap all the way around it. And so, when we do this, is what will end up happening is when we put it back into Maya, we will have a clean texture map. And I'll show you exactly what we're going to have here in just a little bit. For now, let me, and you can run along with this too. You can continue on blending. And anytime you're creating a texture map, you may or may not run into these issues. I know I've ran into these issues multiple times in the past where I'll find one good image for modeling, but then I'll find a good image for creating a texture map. And, you know, even I run into this every now and then. So it's nothing to be real distraught over, is what I'm trying to say. It's just a matter of working with what you got. And so all I'm doing is just blending all of these layers together. And I'm just kind of working my way around. And so when I go back into Maya and continue working on the texture map, you're going to have this real clean texture that I'm like, you're just going to be in awe over. So yeah, how is y'all's evening tonight? I mean, I don't really expect a response at any point in this video, unless you have magical skills to go back in time and talk to me through the speakers of my PC. But other than that, how are y'all doing? I'm just trying to make conversation here, you know. Okay, so we still got this little section up here that is a little rough. So I'm just going to rapid click all the way around this. And then, let's see. So yeah, this is the one that's giving us issues now. So I'm just going to clean that up just a little bit. And I'm going to duplicate layer 5, because that's the one I have selected. Just going to move this right about here. This way it kind of covers that one area. And then I'll go in here and do the same thing. I'll just blend this in. There we go. So now that we have that, we'll go into Save As and go down here to PNG, and we'll save this as the diffuse. Yes. And then select all of these up here, File, Save As, because it's still saving, of course. Since that is done saving, let's go ahead and save this this document. So in case we have to get back into it, it's not a big deal. So I'll go back up here to File, Save As, and we will save this as another PNG file. And this is going to be our bump texture. We'll hit Save. Yes. Okie dokie. So back in here into Maya, I'm actually going to take these faces right here, because this is where I want the logo to be. And I'm going to do another planar mapping. And then for this section right here, I'm going to move it down where this is hovered over. Oh, come on. I'm going to move it down where this is hovered over here. So when I scale it down, let me go ahead and frame in on that. So, let's see, we need to scale this out just a little bit. We'll move this over. And there you go. So now I'm sure some of y'all are thinking, but wait, what about this crap? It's going to be the exact same principle. Because as you can see, the rest of this, it doesn't look half bad. It really doesn't. Now, we will run into some of these other issues like this right down here. That's just simple tweaks of the UV editor. And I'm going to grab these UVs. Well, this one up here can stay. But this one down here I am going to pull in just a little bit. And so, basically all I'm doing is just tweaking everything right now. I like that word, tweaking. Such a fun word. Tweaking. Okay, there we go. Now, once we have done that, and you can do this, you can actually make high-resolution maps down here as well. Like for the serial number right here, or whatever number that is, you can do the exact same thing. It is completely up to you. For tutorial purposes, I'm just going to go in here and start manipulating these. And I don't want this black line in here at all. So I need to move this up. Let's say right about here. This one is going to be the same thing. I need to move this up. So yeah, that's good enough. And then this one I'm going to move up like this. Now, you have to be kind of leery about this because as you can see, now I'm starting to get deforming, I guess you would call it. So back into Photoshop, I'm going to get rid of these three because we are going to have to do the same thing with the with this number. We're going to have to take this, Control CV, and we're going to have to move it, and we're going to do the exact same thing. The only difference is because we already have this layer over here, all I have to do is just grab these layers right here. I can merge these now. And then for the serial number layer is what I'll do is I'll move this probably right about, I'm going to move it right about here. So this is overlapping. And with that overlapping, all I have to do is just grab my tool and just start blending all this in. And by the time you're done, it's going to be a nice blended layer thingy. I don't know. So right now I'm just rapid clicking if you're wondering. Yay for rapid clicks. Alright, so now I'm going to select this layer up here, and I'm going to just, there we go, I'm just going to grab a section of it. I want a pretty good sized section. Control CV, and this layer will be underneath layer 12. It's going to be the exact same thing. There we go. It's going to be the exact same thing that we did before. So I'm just going to move this over and just start. See, I'm just going to hide this layer because it's kind of pissing me off a little bit. Okay, Control V. Now, we are going to run this out. That is okay. But all I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to get all these in place. And you can see that I'm overlapping these real heavily. And the reason for that is when I blend them, you won't be able to see any whiteness behind them. In this case, white is not right. So that's all I'm doing in this case. After that, I'll go ahead and let me go ahead and select this one. Let's see, which one are you? Okay. See, that's what I was talking about. Whiteness. White is not right. So let me go ahead and select this one right here, and I'm just going to blend this in. In fact, I need to select this layer, and I need to blend around here, around these edges. So this way it has a cleaner look to it. And once again, I'm just rapid clicking. Nothing real special here. Nothing going on over here. There we go. And honestly, that doesn't look half bad. I really can't, like, even putting this one over, you really can't tell of any distortion or pixelation. So I'm actually happy with that. Oh, but we can see it right here. But that's not a big deal. All we do is just grab this tool and we do the same thing. We're going to do it right about here. I'm actually going to grab one of these and I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm just going to move it over like so. And then I'll click back up on this layer and just kind of like real loosely clean it all up. There we go. So now we got this, and this actually looks really clean. And we'll go ahead and save the document. File, save as. This is going to be PNG diffuse. Save, yes. You know, I actually kind of wonder if y'all can hear that. Every time it gives me that warning message, you know, I don't know, I have to watch this video back at this part, and I'm just gonna have to check it out, see if I can hear it, because I'm sure it's louder than I am. It almost have to be. Anyways, wait, we can't save it as a bump map yet because we don't have these selected. There we go. File, save as, PNG, and this is going to be the bump. Yes. Orky dorky. So let's go back in here to Maya, and we're going to select these faces, just these right here. These aren't really needed because of the fact that we can manipulate these on the fly. And so once we created a planar map for that, all we have to do, I'm going to push W this time. This way it'll stay centered with where I want it. And then we just scale this down to about there. Now, you could leave this in here. That is completely up to you. This little logo up in here, I'm not. Sure. Let's go ahead and scale it down a little bit more. And then this way we can move it up. I'm going to say right about here. So now we got these two textures, and that actually doesn't look half bad. And now we got this map in the middle that does look bad. So all we have to do, because essentially these textures are the exact same. So if we take these UVs right here and we move them out about there, I'm going to scale this a little bit and make this nice and flat. Nice and flat. It is flat. There we go. Do I need to move these in, or what is going on with Maya today? Because, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to use the texture map down there because, I mean, honestly, that looks like shit. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this same texture down here that we have. And we're just going to move it into position. The only thing we have to be aware of is we have to keep it roughly the same size. So I'm going to make it slightly smaller. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So you can kind of see a little bit that there's a little bit of a change. But if we go down here and we scale this up, so I'm going to scale it right about here. Try not to get into the 5. And we go into object mode. Now you can see it's a lot cleaner. So that's why you need to try and keep it about the same size. It doesn't have to be exact, but it does have to be close. For this right here, let's see. For this right here, we can do this one of many ways. But what I want to do is I want to go into the attribute editor. We'll keep going. There we go, Lambert 2. Okay, so it is the same file, but it's not what we're looking for. And so let's go ahead and take a look at it in the UV editor. I'm going to try and not to, kind of lost my train of thought. I'm going to try to make it where I don't have to make another UV map of this, although I could. Actually, I think I could because we have this dark area right here. And so essentially is what I can do is grab these and do the same thing and move these down into here. And that would actually be all right because of the fact that it'd be all right because we have that dark line down there, and that would kind of like be like a breakaway line. So it's not really going to be something that's going to affect the way it looks real significantly. So as you see, we have this breakaway line right here, and we're really going to utilize this line. I don't know why I just selected vertex. I need UV. I mean, you could do vertex. There's no harm in it. Now this is where I kind of wish I had slightly more faces to deal with. Unfortunately, I don't, but that is okay. So I'm going to move that there. Now we have these lower parts down here, and basically all we have to do is we have to locate them. So let me go ahead and select those faces and see. Okay, so this is this part right here. This is actually part of the bottom part that connects into with the trigger, which I already knew that because, you know, you can see it right here. I just wasn't sure if the faces were still connected or not, and they're not. So we want this to have a nice metal look. We're actually going to, we need to split this up into different segments. So these segments will be by themselves. And I'm just going to, I'm going to scale this down. I'm not going to quite move it into position just yet. And then we have the finger guard itself, and these segments also will be by themselves. Once again, I'm not going to move that into position just yet. And then finally we have this piece. Now this piece is actually part of the back end. It's part of the back end of the revolver. I don't know what the part is called. But I kind of wish that I had the back piece right here. Instead I had to rotate it and put it up here. But even at that, I got a section missing out of it. So we're going to have to work with that. Or we could put the section back in. Be kind of a pain in the ass, but we could. Just hypothetically saying, we could. So yeah, for this right here, I'm actually going to see what this looks like. I can't say it's going to look good because it's probably not. And the reason why it's not going to look good, because of the fact that, one, we're missing segments out of it, and two, let's see, let me get this in position. The other reason why it may not look good because this texture shader right here is going to look different from what we're using. So if I were to come over here and take a look at that, yeah, it's close, but it's not quite right. So I'm going to see if I can manipulate this a little bit more, and we may go back into Photoshop again, yay, and work with this just a little bit more. The other option we have is we can create another planar mapping with just this and give it the same metal texture. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go with it just yet. But don't worry, keep watching, you will figure it out with me. So I'm going to leave these up here for the time being. And we'll see what we have in just a little bit. So for the finger guard, because this is already round, I'm going to put it right here. And then for this piece, I'm going to just put it up here, but I'm going to scale it down just a hair. So now when we zoom in on this, now we get this look. Go into object mode. So now we have a clean look for all of this. And we actually need to create a planar map for the trigger. Now the trigger, I thought we had that. Do we not have that? We do not have the trigger. I was hoping maybe we still had the trigger right here, because if we did, we could just have moved that over right here. But since we don't, we're going to give it we're going to give it this metal look. And to do that, I'm just going to move it over here and scale it down. So we need to rotate it just a little bit. And then we will scale it in like so. Let me move it up. And so now we have this nice clean texture for the trigger. Let's go ahead and take a look at it in the 3D view, and we'll see what we... So yeah, that doesn't look half bad. Now we're getting stretching here because we're projecting from the x-axis, and on these faces right here, basically we'll project from the z-axis, and that'll fix those stretching issues. And it's going to be the same thing with the front of it as well. So, let me think. Let's see. I want to go back into here, and I think I'm just going to come down here with it. And I'm actually going to... I'm going to have to create a few different maps for this. So I'm going to select these faces right here, planar mapping, and then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to scale this in. And we may have to create more than just one map for this piece. I don't know yet. More than likely we will. Yeah, we're going to have to. And the reason why we're going to have to, because this is actually going to be highly stretched. And so you can already see what I'm talking about. This doesn't even look like metal anymore. It looks like concrete. So we're probably going to have to go back into Photoshop. And let me go ahead and zoom out here. So what we can do is we can actually extend all of this out all the way around here. And that would be the easier way to do it. So we'll have more to work with, and it'll keep that metal texture that we want. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all those layers. I'm going to select these two layers. Did I? No, I did not. Joy. So let me select the serial number. That's layer 12. So all of these underneath, I'm going to go ahead and merge. And then I'm going to select these two layers and go ahead and duplicate them. Okie-dokie. So now we have this. Let's see, we're still having multiple layers selected. I'm going to move these up here. This one can be moved right about here. I'm actually going to get rid of this right here. So I'm going to just delete that. Oh, come on, go away. There we go. And see this layer 26 and 23. So let me go ahead and duplicate these layers again. Now, if you remember previously, I said I want this behind. In this case, it does not really matter because of the fact that we're not using we're not really using a whole lot of this metal right here. We're only using it for a handful of things. So I can actually partially cover this. And it's not going to affect anything a whole lot. I just can't cover this area up here because that's where the trigger is. And so now what I need to do is start moving all these into position. Duplicate layer. And oops, that is not what I wanted selected. That is what I wanted selected. There we go. Let me go ahead and duplicate this layer one more time and move this one down. Actually, I'm going to move, yeah, right about here. Let's see. So we got this little dark spot in here. I'm going to get rid of that. There we go. And zoomed out, I'm like, we're still kind of close, but even zoomed out, it does not look half bad. So I'm actually going to keep it as is. I'm not going to do any blending because it doesn't look that bad at all. It really doesn't. So now we got this nice big layer, and I'm going to go ahead and save as PNG. I'm going to go into diffuse, save, yes, okay. And I'm going to reselect all of these layers. Normally I would merge all these together, I'm just not really concerned about it right now. We're probably going to have to do a lot more tweaking inside of Photoshop, so prepare for that. Let me go ahead and save this as PNG. This is going to be the bump texture, or the bump map. Okie dokie. So back inside of Maya, we can go back here, and we can go ahead and click on these different sections. So now, face, we have this piece right here. The problem we had is right now it looks like concrete, so let's go ahead and scale it up, and we will move it, and we're going to need to rotate it. So I'm just going to rotate it right around that logo. And you rotate just a little bit more, and I can move it in like so. For this little piece back here, we can just move this in just a smidge. A smidge. Okay, so now we have now we have this nice texture. That looks a lot better. And you might be thinking, man, that still doesn't look that good. Well, here's the thing is when you go inside of Unity and apply a new shader material to it, you can change it up where it will look like metal, and it's just going to look phenomenal. So for the hammer, oh, here it is. UV. The nice thing about the map that we have created so far, we already have the hammer here. So you can manipulate this into place, but you're still going to get this in here. Go into, I don't know why I just did that. So you could use this if you wanted to. I was hoping maybe I could, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm just farting in the wind, basically. So, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to keep it like that. Let's go back into here. I'm going to select these faces. I wish there was like something that was different from back here, something like some kind of identifier, I guess you would say, that I could use. And realistically, you could actually use this metal look over here, and create another texture map like around here or something. And this way, it'll give it that nice uniform look. I'm not going to go that in depth with it because it's kind of chaotic. Or it can become chaotic, and for tutorial purposes I'm going to try and keep this one shorter than some of the others. I'm just going to create a good looking texture map, something that you can use to really impress people with. So let me go ahead, I'm going to select this face, there we go. So now I got all these selected. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm probably going to have to redo this one. That's not going to be a real big surprise to me. And the reason why I might have to, because of the length of it. So we got this whole length right here. And as you can see, if we were to try and manipulate that, we're going to run into stretching issues. So I'm going to stretch it out to about here. Move it down just a little bit. Then I'm going to select these faces. I'm going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to move this down, and then scale this down. And then we'll scale this in. So now we have this piece right here. There we go. And as you can see, that actually looks very uniform all the way across. And the nice thing is, we did have one. We had like this little darker area right here, so that actually kind of saved our butts. Now, what is this crap? What is this crap? Nobody knows what that crap is. Go into face, select it. See, I don't even see that right there, so why is that? I'm like, it's obviously there somewhere. I'm just not seeing where it's at. So, basically, I'm just going to move this back, move it back to about here. And this other one, yeah, this is it. This other one, I'm going to scale it out just a little bit. See if I can get this without getting that extra crap in there, because nobody likes crap. Up, nope, got the crap. Well, crap. Okay, so basically that's what I was trying to do is I was trying to make this uniform, but we got the extra crap in here, which is right there. I don't know what that crap is, except for just the fact that it's, well, crap. And so what's driving me crazy is I don't even see it. Unless it's this right here, which I guess it could be, but I mean, from what I'm seeing right here, this should like go all the way down here. But either way, it's just crap. So we're going to scale this in just a little bit. We're going to move this back. So let's see how well those match up. They actually match up pretty well. I'm kind of shocked. Because, I mean, you know, if you're playing this, you're not really going to see all that. So I'm actually really shocked that it came out that clean. I know these are backwards. We can fix that later. Or you can leave it the same. Doesn't really matter. For this right here, the easiest way to do this one is just grab these faces like this. Make sure you got all those selected and none of these selected. And we'll apply a new planar mapping, and then we'll go into here. And instead of giving it a logo, is what we'll do is we can just simply go up here and scale this down to about here. And basically we're just going to try and match the rest of this stuff that's in here already, aka the other crap. And that will make that texture map uniform, as you can see. For the Ruger or the Red Super Hawk, the way to do that in Photoshop is what you would do is you would actually have to create this one, but you'd have to flip it horizontally. And by doing so, whenever you apply the texture map, now it would actually read from, the R would be here and it would just read Red Super Hawk going this way. We could do that. I just told you how to do it. But I'm not really going to worry about it a whole lot. But what I do want to do are the handles. So under the handles, now we already made these. So all we have to do is just go into face, select this one, move this one into position. May have to rotate it a little bit and scale it in. For the most part, this one should fit the same as it did before. Might have a little bit of scaling issues if we scaled it in Photoshop, which I don't think we did. Yeah, we didn't, because this is actually fitting really nice. And you can see how beautiful that looks. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's this other side. So that looks good. Now normally this wood handle would actually have like a curve that goes up like this. I just followed the contour of what was already there because this way it's more uniform. Otherwise it would have the other shape. Wrong thing. It would have the other shape that you'd expect to see. So this thing is going to be the exact same. We're just going to have to grab it and rotate it and move it into position. This actually has, let's see, might have to rotate just a hair more. There we go. And then all we're going to do is, maybe we just need to scale in like this. I think if we just scale in like that, then we'll be fine. Everything is fine. Grab the UVs. Those into position, like so. And the rest of this, I mean, it's good enough for government work. I'm like, come on. Alright, there we go. So now the texture map for the handle has been applied. The only thing is we got this weird stretching. I'm actually going to see if I can fix that since I'm actually more alert now. And the reason why we have this is because of these right here. So if we move those underneath, now we get rid of the stretching down there, and then we have it right here. So all we're going to do is just start moving these down one at a time until we get a uniform appearance. So I'm actually going to move these, this one here, this one here, this one here, this one about here. And all I'm trying to do is make sure that the contours of these lines are matched up as close as I can get them. If they're matched up, you will not run into this issue. And so you can see that they're pretty close to being matched up, and that actually looks way cleaner than what it did before. So I'm going to go ahead and save the scene. Now we need to finish up on this back part. I'm going to go ahead and just select a face, and we will look for these face. There it is. There it is, our magical face. we're just going to move this into position. Hopefully we don't have any crap that pops up, because, you know, I like crap. Move this up just a little bit. There we go. And so now we got that lines up, and you can see that this blends in real nicely. So then we got this right here. Now you could go in here and manipulate this a little bit more. Like if I was going to manipulate this, is what I would do inside of Photoshop. I'd actually take part of this. In fact, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to do it. This way you can see exactly how I would do it. Let's go ahead and merge all these layers. And so this way I can just select this layer. I'm going to copy and paste. Yay. So I'm going to move about here. Control C, V. And I'm just going to grab this layer. And I'm going to overlap it right about here. Control V. I'm going to overlap this one right about here. And when you go back into Maya, and so we got it down here too, and is what we'll do is Control V, and we're going to put this right about here. And so with our brush tool, let's go ahead and just select this layer first. Actually, let's go ahead and select this layer because I can kind of see some pixelation. So I'm just going to blend this in right here, and then we'll select this bottom one, and we're just going to very gently blend this in. And then we'll select this layer right here, and once again we'll just gently blend it in. Something like this. And you get this blended in down here as well, so it looks more uniform. For this layer down here, we'll select it, and then same thing, we just blend it in like that. So if we crank up the opacity, now we need to get rid of this extra little bit that's sticking out. We don't have to do it, well, wait, yeah, we do. I don't remember if we have to do it on the wheel cylinder or not, but I'm going to do it just to be on the safe side. And I'm actually going to delete this section too, so this way it follows the contour a little bit better. So let's go ahead and go to Save As. This is going to be PNG. This is the bump map. Save, yes, okay. And then we're going to turn these layers off, so we have our diffuse map as well. I'm also going to save this document. Any day now, one of these years, 2 decades later. So document is saved, file, save as, and then we're going to save this one as the PNG diffuse layer. There we go. And in Maya, when it updates, we'll just give it a second because I'm sure Photoshop is still saving. Yep, it is. So here in about 3 years, when it's done saving, I'll show you exactly. Okay, here we go. So in Maya, this looks decent, but when you when it reapplies, see how now that all blends in, and it looks a lot cleaner. So that was the purpose of me doing that. And I mean, you can see that this just blends in real nicely. If you want to blend in a little bit more right up here, all you'd have to do is click on UV, and you just have to move this up just a little bit, not too much, because then you'll run into deforming. But as you can see, that now looks very clean, and it blends in very nicely. So let's go ahead and save this, and then we'll click on the barrel, and we will do the same thing with the barrel. Well, not the exact same thing, but you know what I mean. So let's go and click on UV, and we're going to move these in, and move them right about here. And these will be moved in right about here. We'll select all of them, and we'll scale them down. Scale them down a little bit more. So I'm actually going to try and get the black all inside of this. And the reason why, because black is a color that is really hard to see. Yeah, see, like right here we got a stripe. So we'll go back into the barrel, UV, and we're going to scale this down just a little bit, not too much. So now if we go back in here, that's gone, and that bottom part is gone. And that actually looks really good. Now, the other option you have, I swear Maya hates me today. The other option you have is you could also do a cylindrical map. And if you're going to do this, then you could just do it simply like this. And then for the size, Let's see, where are you at? Okay, I don't see the size on here. I see the projection height, which is how tall it is. We're going to make it, we need to make it probably a 4. There we go. So, once we do that, we need to go in here. Now, normally I would just grab it and start going, but you can see that we get this weird crap sticking out. And I told you before, I don't like crap. So all you gotta do is just rotate it till all this matches up. I'm gonna match it up right about there. So then all we have to do is just go down, and I'm gonna have to rotate this. There's no other way around it. Yep, I was right. So we'll have to rotate this UV wrap. We're going to do it right about here. Scale this down and scale this in like so. So the advantage of doing the cylindrical wrap, as you can see now, it looks more even. And we'll have this right here, and the reason why we have that is because of the fact that the wrap itself, this is why I like to try and finish it on the black lines, because in doing so, you actually do something. I'm trying to think of what it's called. It basically, the black lines on it will actually mesh up together, and you won't be able to tell that that's where it starts or ends. Yeah, that's better. Diet Cola. So, I need to find this UV right here. Let's just see what happens if I move it straight down. I know it's around here somewhere, but it looks like it's not really going to mess with us too much. So, actually, because we moved that, we could just simply move this up like this. And, let's see. Move this, scale this up just a little bit more. Okay, so here's what's going on, right down here. So we're getting close, it's just not meshing up. And as you can see, we have this UV right here. So if we were to move this down, okay, we're not selecting that one, that's good. So let me just select these UVs right here. There we go. And I'm going to move this down right about here, like so. And once I've done that, I can actually go ahead and shift select these UVs, and I can do the same thing just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. And so now when we look at this, you can see that you get this real nice clean texture. And if you don't want this black stripe on here, you don't have to have it. The way you could get rid of that is to just simply take this bottom section right here and just start duplicating it up, kind of like we did for the bullet earlier. But you just be moving, like you take one long sliver from this end and just, you know, cut this little section out and just start copying and pasting upwards in Photoshop. So, yeah, once we have done that, we can go ahead, you know, one thing I didn't make is a front trigger, but that's okay. Let's see, what else do we have to do? The front. We have to do the front. It is an absolute must. So, we have these right here. Let's go ahead and go into UVs. We're going to, we're actually going to move these down here. And I don't care if the crap shows up in these. It's not going to make me lose sleep. I promise you it's not. I'm going to scale these in. I'm going to move them right about here. And so now when we have these textures in place, now we have this look to it. And I think that looks, yeah, there's that crap again. Maybe I will lose sleep over that. It's up to you if you want to manipulate that or not. I'm not going to take the time to, because, you know, I'm cool. That's how I roll. Cool guys don't look at explosions. I never look at explosions. Except unless it's the 4th of July. Then I like watching fireworks. That stuff's pretty cool. Alright, so we'll scale this in. Scale this in. We're going to move this. We're probably going to have the crap showing up again. I still don't know what that crap is. I mean, it's just, it's hidden in my view. If y'all can see it, and I'm just missing something, I mean, throw a message down there in the comments. I guess I'm just going, blind. I don't know why, but saying that just reminded me of Carl Sagan. I don't know if y'all watch his videos with Mario Maker, But, I mean, this guy is epic. He is hilarious. And it's awesome watching him play Mario Maker levels because he'll do, like, 100-man challenges, and people just make him troll maps. And it's rather entertaining to watch him go through these. I'm not going to say I'm, like, a huge fan where it's like, oh, my God, I need to get your autograph. You know, I'm not going to say that. But, I mean, he does seem like a pretty cool guy. And if y'all get a chance, y'all might want to check out his YouTube channel because, I mean, it's actually really, really entertaining to watch. Okay, so as I said earlier, we're going to grab all of these. That's the idea anyways. Boop. There we go. So I'm just going to start grabbing these like so. And I'm just trying to get as many as possible. Basically, I'm trying to get as many as possible without getting this crap right here. Or like these right here. I don't want those. I don't want these. It's okay if I get these other ones. I'm not too worried about that. But I just don't want any of this because that already has its own texture map. Yeah, I'm going to grab those. Now this one I need to go back in and redo because honestly that looks like crap. But the rest of these, let's see what we got. Yep, see, missed some. And to hide your tool, whichever tool you have like that, like I just did, all I hit was the letter Q on the keyboard. That just goes into the selection tool, and this way you don't have to worry about taking a chance of grabbing the wrong thing. So, yeah, that's how I did it. I work a lot off of hotkeys, honestly. And, I mean, I think y'all would be amazed. You know, I don't know why I'm doing this. I could just simply go here. Oh, I need to get rid of this. Nope, too much. No, I'm actually going to keep those. Come on, Jimmy, make up your mind. I know. So anyways, I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to do it this way. So now I have all those selected. And, do we have stretching here? Yes, we do. So I'm going to grab these because those did not take. There we go. We have a little bit of stretching in here. I guess I'm going to go ahead and get those in there as well. Probably look better if I go ahead and apply a map to it. Okay, so we got all these selected. We got almost all of these selected. Going to go into X-ray because why not? Now, there's actually going to be two maps I'm going to apply to these. I'm actually going to apply a UV texture map, planar map specifically, from the X-axis and Z-axis. And the reason for this is because even if I applied a Z-axis to this, they're not going to show up. So I'm going to start with the Y-axis. I'm going to hit apply. And then I'll come into this little weird thing in a bopper going on. And these were applied from the top. So now I need to select all my top maps. So I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to control and deselect all of my top maps. Let's see, probably right about there. And I'll grab or deselect those. Basically, rule of thumb is if it's a top map, I don't want it. I don't want it. Okay, select that. Now these will be projected from the Z-axis. So let's make sure. Turn that crap off. See, totally missed some. Missed some down there. Okay, so control deselect all those. Yeah, I'm going to deselect this all the way up to here. So now we should have should have just the faces. And we do. Okay. So all the faces that are left will be projected from the z-axis. I cannot believe I closed that window. Why would I do that? Z-axis, project. There we go. And so now we have all of these, and this is exactly what we want. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select these, and I'm going to move these into here. Let me zoom in. I'm going to scale these up just a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to, just going to grab one of these, and I'm going to do the same thing. Scale it. Now you could just go ahead and you could actually select all these and just scale them all uniformly and move them in. The reason why I haven't been doing that, because I didn't think about it. So that's my defense. I'm sticking with it. Okay, so we have a little bit of an issue right here. When I go into object mode, you can see that this no longer looks uniform. The way to fix that is basically, wait, what is this crap? What is this crap? There we go. And it's still showing. Oh, that's why it's showing, because it's way deformed. So what we need to do is we actually need to move this one right around here. This one's actually going to be kind of large. In fact, we might actually have to do two maps. I'm going to do that just to err on the side of caution. So let me go ahead and create a map here, and we'll scale this down about like that, and then this one, scale this up about like this. There we go. Okay. Now to fix this issue right here, all I would do would just be select this layer, and once again I'm going to take a sliver about like that, Control CV, and I'm going to move this up to here, because this is where we're running into the issue. And then after I've done that, I'm going to take my eraser tool. That is way too much. No, I don't want flow, I want opacity. I'm going to take my eraser tool and then just start doing this. There we go. And I'm actually going to tweak this a little bit more because I can still see some really sharp edges. I don't like it. There we go. Then I'm going to move this in just a little bit. Then File, Save As. I'm going to save the document first this time. There we go. File, Save As, PNG. This is diffuse. Save, yes. So the advantage of doing that is when you open the file back up and you look at it, you're going to see that that's going to have a real nice blend look to it. It's not just going to go like, plant, you know, so you're not going to have those sharp edges like you did before. File, Save As. You know, instead of saving these and having to wait each time, I'm going to wait till I'm actually done with the diffuse layer, because this is starting to get kind of ridiculous. I'm sure y'all agree with me on that. So now when we take a look at this and it's applied, you can see that that's actually like nice and smooth. And you could tweak that a little bit more if you wanted to. That is completely up to you. If it was me, I would, but I'm not. So what is next? Oh, inside the barrel. The barrel, wait a minute. Man, that looks okay. So inside the barrel, you know, I wish I had a perfect view where I could just go, yeah, but I don't. So, the easiest way to do this, let's see, what would be the easiest way of doing this? If one of y'all have a channel and, you know, you can go back in time, just message me and be like, yo, dude, why don't you do it like that? Okay, there we go. So, I'm going to grab all these faces like this, and, I'm actually going to move these into a different location. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and frame in on this. I'm just going to look around, make sure I got everything selected, and I do. And then I'm going to shift select these. I'm going to back out. I need to deselect anything that may have escaped. So that's actually what I want. This one, I can actually just apply a planar map, but I still have to apply it from the x-axis. And the reason why I'm doing this, because the texture map I'm giving it is going to be a baseline texture map. It's just going to be black. Because when we go into Unity to create a new material, we can make it shiny. We can make it faster. We can make it stronger. We have the technology. There we go. And so, nope, it sticks out just a little bit. I'm just going to move it in like that. And we're actually getting some clipping up here. So under UVs, I'm going to scale these in about like that, move this down, and voila. Now we got this nice black texture. There we go. Control S. So now that we've gotten that part done, let's go back into the body and finish up with the rest of the texture map. So we got this. We'll go ahead and move this into position. We are almost done. And then we'll go into Unity and apply the new materials. Okay, that looks good. Do I want to do that? I think I want to do that. Let me go ahead and move all these out. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here in just a second. I'm actually separating every one of these. And the reason for this, because I'm going to actually scale all these down uniformly. But in order to do that, you have to have them all separated. So when we select all of these, we're going to scale them down like so. And we're going to move them over, frame in on them. And I'm going to just start moving these into position. And that one can stay. Let's see. I know the crap is over there, so that's why I'm moving this over. I'm going to move this up just a little bit. Then I'm going to move this over here. Then I'm going to move this one right about here. Then I'm going to move this one right about here. Now, this is not a very good way to do a texture map, but it will get the job done. There's more than one way to skin a cat. So, we've gotten that done. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the final product. And I wish I had some like epic gaming music playing in the background. You know, something that's like wah, wah, wah. Something that's just epic, you know. I might have to throw that in the video. Let me go ahead and select this face right here. I want to see what is going on. Oh, I see. It's on the crap again. Wrong one. That is the right one. Okay, so this is this part right here. Let me go and move over here. Nope, that is not that part. So if you hover over it and it turns red, that means you are not selected. If you hover over it and it turns green, that means you do have it. That means you do have that one selected. And that's why I keep moving the mouse over, just trying to find that one magic spot. So we got this. I'm going to scale this down just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to scale this in. I'm going to move it forward. I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to move it down. Move it down a little bit more. Yeah, why not? Alright, so that looks really good. I can live with that. Can you live with that, YouTube? I can live with that. So we still have this weird thing, and this will be, you can leave that there. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you if you want to change it. But what I was talking about is how this has a sharp edge that just immediately goes into that. So, is what I'm going to do. I also need to work a little bit more on this texture map. Well, not work on the texture map itself, but just its placement. I need to locate it first. There it is. You can use either one of these cylinders. That part is completely up to you. I'm just going to show you real quick. So I'm going to move this down to here. and this is how you do that. The reason why I don't want to use it, because this isn't going to blend very well. I never set this up to blend, and that's why I don't want to use that one. I want to use this one up here, because it's going to be a lot easier to make it blend and make it believable. So all I gotta do is just move this up about here. And for these UVs, I'm going to move these up where it's white, and I'm going to move these up where it's white. And so now, when you look at it, you can see how much cleaner that looks. Yeah, you still have a little bit of a lapping issue right here, and to fix that, all you would simply do is go into UV, and more than likely it's going to be these, so you just move them forward right about there. And I'm going to do the same thing with this right here. There we go. And that's how you'd fix that, and as you can see, now that actually has a real clean look to it. I still have a little bit of an issue with it, but you get the idea. For this up here, you do the same thing. We basically just need to make these UVs. Like the easiest way of doing this is just grab them, scale them in, make them flat, and then move them back. That would be the easiest way of doing it, because now you have this real nice clean texture to it. Move them right about, let's see, just going to move them right about here. Just move the crap out of them. And then we'll select these. Oh, you select these down here too. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to move these back and make this look a little more uniform. There we go. And I want to get rid of this crap that is down here. I don't know what that is, but it's there. So I'm going to move these in. I'm going to move this up. Actually, I have to move all of these about like that. For this one, oh, here's where the crap's coming from. So, select these, not these. I'm just going to move them up just a smidge, deselect those, just a smidge, deselect those, just a smidge. So now in theory, yeah, there we go. It got rid of it. Okay, so for the wheel cylinder, let me go back in here to Photoshop. So we're using, I don't know why I didn't just use this one. I could have. But we're using this one up here. Basically is what you could do is you could take one of these flat edges and just start copying and pasting all the way down here and blend it, which is the exact same thing that we did up here for the part that covers the barrel. I'm not going to do that because that's a lot of extra work. That's just not needed. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select all this into object mode, Control S, and what we're going to do is, oh wait, we still got the trigger we got to work with. Smooth Jimmie, face, meh, and I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to create a cylindrical map, and I'm going to, not that one, come on Jimmie, Z-axis. I'm just going to wrap it like that. And if you notice, I want this to be wrapped down towards here. And the reason why, because you won't see where the 2 points connect. And here, in Photoshop, I'm going to move this. I'm actually going to change the pivot. To do so, you just hit Insert. You move this over here and press Insert again to apply the positioning. So once I've done that, I'm going to move this. Oi, buzzer time. I'm just going to move that right about here. And we shouldn't have any crap in there. Shouldn't. Not saying we will, not saying we won't, I'm just saying we shouldn't. There we go. Now you could actually go in here and you could redo the texture maps where you could use this other metal. You know, you could use like this metal up here or something like that. And to give you an idea, let me just go into face. So if we were to use this metal, I mean, this is kind of what you'd get. So it's no big deal. Let me go ahead and save this scene. And as what I'm going to do, I'm going to save one more time. Let's go into File, send to Unity, and we're going to send all of it to Unity. And let's see, when you go into the Tutorial YouTube, Assets, and we'll click on 3D-FBX. That's where we're going to set the folder to, and we'll click on Revolver, Export All, Yes. And while that's doing its thing, I'm going to be doing my thing. I'm going to, let's see, we still have this open. So I'm actually going to copy both of these. I'm going to go into Documents, and I'm going to look for Tutorial YouTube, which I know it's here somewhere, and we're going to go into Library, not Library, we're going to go into Assets, 3D-FBX, Materials, and we're going to paste those. Do this for all conflicts, copy and replace, there we go. And we're going to get rid of the regar texture diffuse, yes. And so now we have the updated files for Unity once it loads, if it ever loads. And this is actually going to be the last video on the series. The rest of it I'm going to probably work on my own. This will be one, this gun will actually be going on the asset store, the Unity 3D asset store. I'm just going to set a price of like $2, but I'm going to finish the texture map on it later on. You can do it! So anyways, yeah, that's the whole plan on that. I'm hoping that from y'all watching these videos, y'all are a little more familiar with sending things to Unity. I'm thinking in the next video I'm actually going to make another cell phone, but I'm going to make one that is photorealistic. So the nice thing with photorealism, unless you're doing it for a video game, but like if you're doing it for like cinema or something like that, you don't have to worry about the polygonal amount of faces that you're going to be working with. So it's actually really nice. For this one, because we got rid of the regar, we now have to move the Ruger and move it into the albedo map. And same thing with the revolver. We'll do the same thing. And so now we get this look. So this is what the barrel looks like. As you can see, it has this nice reflection to it. Black is going to have the best reflection. White will have the least amount of reflection. And so that's why we have this look to it. So what we need to do is for the revolver material that we're applying it to, oh yeah, see, you can actually see the lines in this one. So all we're going to do is we're going to see, this is just revolver matte, and we're going to bring down the metallics of it. Oh, wait, we need to bring down the smoothest, but up the metallics. I'm going to say right about there. And you could actually apply a secondary map to it if you wanted to. But now for the normal map, is what we're going to do is we're going to change this to a 0.2. There we go. If you want to bring this up, you can. That is completely up to you. The reason why I'm not, because of the fact that I actually want it to... I want to try and keep the metallic look to it without creating this... let me try a 0.4. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to stick with that. But the reason for the other thing, you know, the thing, guy, come on, the thing. If you have this as a real high bump resolution, is what's going to happen is you're actually going to run into this weird texturing effect. And so if I change this to a 1, this is the texturing effect I'm talking about. So that's why I'm sticking with a 0.4. Even right here on this, as you can see, this still has the depth that you would expect to see. And so that's why I'm keeping this where it's at. Now this right here, I'm going to go back in here. This is map 1, which is right here. I'm going to change this to a 0.65. Yeah, 0.65. Because this is a wooden handle, so it's going to have kind of a rough texture to it. But for the metallic, there shouldn't be much metallics on it. The smoothness, I'm going to keep right around here somewhere. I just don't know where, but you know, something like that. So yeah, this is what you should get when you... this is what you should have as a finished product if you're following like exactly what I did step by step. I wouldn't expect you to, because a lot of those points are fractions, like really small fractions, and you're talking about pixel perfect, and I just don't see it happening because yet, you know, it's almost impossible. Especially with as much tweaking as I did. I'm sure some of you are like, man, thank God this video's over. But anyways, you know, it's whatever. So I'm thinking for the next video, either I'm going to model a car or I'm going to model a photorealistic cell phone. It's going to be one of the two. But let me know what y'all think of these these tutorials. Let me know your opinions, your views, what you would like to see me do next, if y'all have any ideas, things like that, and I'd be more than happy to go over some of these. The gun tutorial, the reason why it took the longest is because of the fact that there's so many pieces to it. There's so much detail in it. I mean, the car is going to be way easier, way quicker, because, I mean, there's not really a whole lot of details that go into it. Unless you're doing the interior, the motor, the exterior, the suspension, you're doing everything. But either way, I'd be more than happy to go over all that as well. And we can either do one that's photorealistic, or we can do one that's just, you know, generic, you know, for a video game. High res, low res, whatever. But anyways, hope y'all enjoyed these tutorials. Hope I have made y'all a little bit more knowledgeable between Maya, Photoshop, and Unity. So yeah, just hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, you know, help a brother out. And yeah, if y'all have any questions, shoot them in the comments. And if there are enough questions, I'd be more than happy to do a video answering all of y'all's questions, and we'll see you next time.